Shirt Show. All right, let's go.
Shirt Show! Talking shirt! Shirt Show! That's talking shirt! Shirt Show! Talking shirt! Shirt Show! Shirt, man!
All right, episode 17 of Shirt Show. We're talking with Jonathan from Catspit Productions in Arizona. Let's go!
Shirt Show!
Can you hear us?
We got Jonathan at Mission Control.
We can hear you.
Hey,
Is there
You're
a
good.
mic control on this thing?
I think it's fine.
It's okay?
Dylan says it's good. It's good. Yeah. So
Okay.
got a
I can
thumbs
hear
up
you guys
over
pretty
there.
good. Okay. How's the lighting for you? Not too bad?
looks
It's
perfect. Yeah.
Perfect.
I just slapped that together for this here. So
Yeah, me and you look good. Andy looks red. I don't know why.
It's way better than Dylan's
Little
lighting. So you're good.
okay. All right.
So you
What's
got,
going on, man?
yeah, we heard
Yeah.
you got a little boo-boo on your head.
Yeah.
How'd you do that?
Well, that was kind of crazy thing. I was just working on the project car, which, I have an old muscle car, and it was just silly. I whacked my head into the garage door, basically, and it was like I was just moving around a little bit too quick. I'm getting old, guys. I'm probably older than you think. Let's see, November's coming. I'll be 50. So I learned, 2 weeks ago today, I think it was, I learned to slow down a little bit and watch what you're doing, because I got out of the car and tried to go through the garage, and the door was down a little bit. And as I got up, I whacked my head on the door. And at first I thought, oh, well, I'm going to have a little bump. It's a little welt, oh boy, that sucks, And then I felt it bleeding and stuff. And I was like, man, this is unbelievable. So I had to it was 12 stitches.
And you were
Damn.
poking your brain a little bit.
It might have knocked something out of me. I'll tell you. I don't know.
Where was it? Was it up on top?
Right here.
We can't even see it.
Yeah, that's
Well,
healing.
the stitches are out.
Wow. That
No,
looks
it's
really
good lighting. I guess it's good lighting. There's no shadows. There's no contrast here. So it's like here. It's like an arch, and it's pretty bad. It's a decent scar that you'll see. And
It's like a Harry Potter mark.
Yeah, Harry Potter or pirate. I've been getting all that kind of stuff, So
Awesome.
yeah,
So what's your muscle car?
it's a 79 Z28 Camaro, but it has a what you call a 406 stroker engine in it. So it's kind of like a racing engine, but it's very old school. It's all metal and muscle. It's basically a 350 small block that is worked out to the maximum. It has big heads on it, big cam, 3.75 crankshaft, Scorpion rockers. It's pushing about 450 horse, just the way it sits.
And you only use it to burn the tires off?
That could be expensive. They're expensive tires.
You go out in the driveway, you burn the tires off, you pull it back in.
Yeah, that's it. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, actually, it's fun to drive. It's a 4-speed manual, and it's a lot of fun to drive around. And it has that kind of lope that it just kind of, bloop, 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 it jiggles and stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's like a giant oversized go-kart. Very cool.
Yeah, my very first car was a Camaro. It was a 77. I think I told you, we talked a long time ago about that. But I had saved, let's see. So I started saving for my first car when I was 15, and I had this pretty badass, lawn mowing business called MoPro, as Dylan knows.
Yep.
And my grandma, actually, believe it or not, had this Camaro, and I was going to buy it from her. And so I was like, my birthday was in July, so I was like the youngest kid in my class practically, and all my friends, they were all driving before me, and so I was saving. Summer came along, and I had a party. My parents went out of town, and I had a party. It was like a get together. It wasn't like a huge rage or anything, but window got broken. Somebody ran over our mailbox and some other shit.
This is all fake. This just sounds like a shitty 80s movie.
Well, you know
wish.
what? Then
And then in the
my
end, I
life
got
is
the
a shitty
girl.
80s movie. Yeah. No, this is stuff that I can relate to. Yeah.
And then I left my girlfriend and I put a boombox on above my head and she came out.
I
I've
wish.
done that.
That's a nice move. That's a nice move, actually. But I had this party, and then my parents got back in town, and they pulled me out of school. My stepdad interrogated me, and the punishment was I had to wait. I couldn't get that car on my birthday. I had it. Yeah. I actually had bought it already, and it was in the driveway, and I was almost gonna drive it. I had it licensed and everything, and then I turned 16, and I couldn't fucking drive it, and so I had to wait. And it was like it seemed like 1,000 years I was waiting. But
that's such a dick stepdad move.
I know. Well, because that car, when you turn 16, getting that car, it's freedom. Now all of a sudden,
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Should have gave you that.
Nope.
Yeah. No, I remember waiting for that for my first car. So, yeah.
What was your first car?
That's funny because I was just thinking about it the other day. I think I saw it on YouTube. It was a Pontiac Ventura, and it was a 3-speed on the column, as I remember. So it was like a Nova. Like the Ventura was basically a ripoff of the Nova, but it was Pontiac, which I think GM made them all, so I don't know why they did that, but it was a little 3-speed Pontiac Ventura. It was a 6-cylinder. I think it was a straight 6. So
it had a clutch, and you would change the gears on the column, like up on the steering column.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yes. And then I didn't have that too long, and then right after that, I was able to luck out on a friend of my brother's who had a 1972 Chevelle. So I bought that for $500, and I drove that for most of my high school years, actually. Yeah.
Such a baller car to have in high school.
Really?
It was, it was considered a muscle car and stuff, even though it was a pretty big, the Chevelle was a pretty big body, and it had a 350 small block. So it wasn't that fast, but had headers and whatnot and sounded.
If it was lighter, maybe you'd be fast, because that was the thing with my Camaro. Yeah. It was so heavy. Like I was driving to school one day, and I was sitting at a stoplight, and it was one of those mornings I had to park it outside, and it was one of those mornings where you had to scrape your windows, Yeah. And so I was sitting at a stoplight, it turned green, and I started going, boom, I got hit from behind. Oh, and literally my seat kind of twisted a little bit, but it was such a heavy car. I got out and I looked back, and the guy who hit me, his car was like totaled. They had to tow it away. Like the radiator, everything had dumped on the street. And it turns out that the guy who hit me was going to school too, and he was in my class. So I gave him a ride the rest of the way.
Nice guy. Yeah. It's heavier, I guess, compared to other cars, but the Camaro was considered a pony car. So it's actually pretty light in comparison to some of the larger, muscle cars. So, and then, you do stuff when like my car is a little bit modified. So there's parts missing, like there's some metal that was cut out and things that were taken out, and the batteries in the trunk and stuff like that to displace the weight and all that. But it probably only weighs about 2,000 pounds or so. It's not a really heavy car, maybe 25 max.
It felt like it, maybe because compared to nowadays, because it had a chrome bumper. Totally.
It's yeah, absolutely. They're built a lot differently. I have a big giant door. The big giant door was part of the reason that I probably bashed my head into the garage door, because the way I came out of the car, it was So they're built. They're definitely built a lot differently than how cars are made today, for sure.
We've had this conversation a couple of times, because Chris has an old El Camino, like an SS El Camino, and I've always wanted like an old truck and stuff. But then we say too, like, what's going to happen when nowadays everybody's trying to get away from like that, and like gas, everybody wants to do like electric cars and everything. What's going to happen in like years when they just like jack up the price of gasoline like crazy, to where they try to phase out everybody that has like a gas guzzling car?
That's true. I saw on the news that isn't California trying to, by 2035 or something like this, they want all new car sales to be zero emissions.
Oh, wow.
And that's pretty, I mean, I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I think I saw it on the news. It was in the morning. I could have been half awake. But I'm pretty sure, California was trying to push for a particular year to have zero emissions for new car sales. So, I don't know. That's a good question. What happens to, all the old guys who have
muscle cars
and things like that? I don't know. Yeah, I guess we pay more for gas.
So how'd you get started in screen printing?
Well, you know what? I was born into it, actually. My father, his name is John, and he has been in the industry since before I was born. So he actually helped with a few products. He worked with Newman roller frames back in the beginning when
they were made out of stone.
Yeah, when Mr. Newman pitched the idea in a hotel room. Yeah. And I think my father helped bring that product to the market and was good friends with Mr. Newman for many years. And so my father did a lot of stuff in the industry before I even, was born, really. And he was a salesman, really. He wasn't necessarily a printer, but he was a salesman, and he sold a lot of different types of things. And he used to help people figure out how to print stuff like Christmas ornaments and stuff. He had an account that he went in and helped them figure out how to print the Christmas ornaments, and then sold them all the product and stuff. So my father was in it for many, many, many years. And then as I grew up, my oldest brother, who I call Jeff, but he goes by John now, his first name. He had a print shop in New York State for over 25 years, and I helped him start that when I was in high school in the garage. And we worked out of the garage for quite some time. And then when I went to college, I ended up going to college. I got lucky, and my father offered to send me to college. And I said, "Hey, yeah, okay, you're gonna buy, I'll fly." So I got lucky there, and I taught my other brother, Mitch, how to screen print. And then Mitch and Jeff, or John today, ran that business for many, many years in New York State. And I came out to Arizona, actually, and went to school and graduated and went back to New York for a little while. And then I came back out here and came back to screen printing ultimately. And so it was in the family, it was in the blood. It was in our lives forever. I printed my first T-shirts when I was like 11 years old with my uncle in the basement of our house in New York on a press that he built out of wood. So it's...
Whereabouts in New York were you?
At that time, that was Somers. So that was Westchester County. So it was upstate. I was born in like Long Island, Manhasset, Long Island. And then my father didn't like how the island was turning out. And so he moved us upstate to Westchester County and a little town called Somers. And so my uncle was an artist. He drew. He was a really talented artist, actually. And so he had some artwork that he wanted to print on T-shirts and stuff. And that's where I started. I was printing at 11 years old, printing T-shirts in the basement with my uncle. And I even remember going to my father's place where he worked. It was way back then. It was called Majestic. Today, it's part of Sadi. If you're familiar with Sadi, which makes chemicals and stuff, emulsions and mash and all that, and I used to go to the warehouse and sweep the floor and just hang out. And it's a funny thing I have to mention is that recently I realized I come into my office here in my shop, and I have this place for 5 years now, maybe over 5 years. And there was always a smell to it that I was like, that smell is really familiar. And I couldn't quite place it. And I thought, it's kind of like a dentist's office. But then, but then I realized recently that it smells like Majestic. It smells like the screen printing warehouse with all the chemicals and the boxes and the mesh and all the stuff from the place where my father worked when I was a kid.
So did you start off with like a screen printing shop where you were selling stuff to customers, or you kind of always just sold supplies?
No, yeah. So I was a printer. I printed for my brother for a while. Then as I came to Arizona, I printed for a few people in Arizona. And then at a certain point, yes, I started printing for myself, and I started Catspit. I think that was around 2007.
So Catspit was first a print shop. It wasn't.
Yes.
You didn't sell supplies.
No. I started Catspit as a print shop and made a living printing just to local businesses and stuff here in the Phoenix Valley area. And then, I'll be honest. I saw Ryan on YouTube making videos. He started in 2006.
Oh shit! You didn't start first.
Yeah. He started in 2006. I saw some of his videos and I said, I think I could make better videos than that. And I started in 2009 on YouTube. So
we were wondering who was first.
Yeah, Ryan was first. Ryan was the first guy to really start doing the type of educational videos that you see today on YouTube. And I was probably, there was a couple other people out there that were a little bit hobbyist or home grade. And then I came onto the scene, in 2009.
Yeah, because pretty much everybody we talk to, a shop that's been around quite a while, we always ask, like, where did you learn to print or whatever? And a lot of them are always like, oh, either Catspit or Ryan videos.
Yeah, for me, I saw you first. So,
oh yeah, cool.
I saw Ryan.
It's good.
So you started to make videos, how-to videos, while you were still a print shop, or you said, hey, I'm going to sell supplies and I'm going to also offer some education with this. So
that's correct. You're right. It was actually, I was making the videos while I was printing, and I figured it might be a good way to pick up some print work. But what happened was that the people who were watching my videos began to ask me where to get the products that I was using. So it occurred to me, because of my connections in the industry through my father, I said, well, I already know a lot of people in the industry. So I figured, let's make a transition to supplying. And actually, many people who follow me for 10 years, I've been on YouTube for over 10 years now. And way back at some point, Ryanette sponsored me for a year. So Ryanette was the sponsor of the Catspit Productions YouTube channel for a year. And we worked together for a year.
Because you sold their supplies, you're saying?
I didn't sell their product directly. This was in the very beginning. So I just promoted their product and I would get a commission, basically. For videos, I would make videos for them, and which are not up anymore. They're not live anymore, because since then, of course, we've parted ways. It just basically, it came to a point at which Ryanette is a big company, and I wanted to maintain control of the integrity of what I do. And, I didn't want to sell out the channel in any way. So I decided to go it alone. And listen, I could have taken the easy way and buddied up with Ryan and probably.
No, that's awesome.
Well, but I took the hard way, and it's been challenging. I wear a lot of different hats here at Catspit. So so it started out as printing, making some printing videos to share some information. And then people started to ask me where to get stuff. And luckily I had the connections, and I rolled with it and transitioned from printing to supplier. Today, I no longer print commercially.
So when you started getting selling supplies and stuff, do you actually warehouse them there?
I do actually have some supplies here, but I also have supplies at the factory at Ranar. So Ranar, as you might know, is one of the equipment manufacturers that I sell, and I'm probably their biggest dealer in the world. And so they do a lot of fulfillment for me. So a lot of the supplies and whatnot will fulfill from the factory. But, because of the COVID situation recently, that has overloaded the factory because they're short on personnel. So I have been shipping a lot of stuff from Phoenix, and it's been taking a lot of time and effort, a lot of work. But yes, I have stock. It's difficult because I have to keep stock in Phoenix, and I keep stock in El Segundo, California at Ranar.
So you're you started in 2009 with the videos? Was that?
Yeah, I think it was 2009. The channel was established. Yeah.
So back then, 2009, I don't know how many people were buying supplies on the internet, and so were your initial orders local? Like people would just come pick it up? So you were selling to the Phoenix area, or were you actually people going to a website? You had a website people would buy supplies on, or how did that work?
Yeah, no. In the very beginning, I had a website, or actually in the very, very beginning, it was just the YouTube channel. Then I added the website to be a supplement to the videos. And I started creating tutorial content on that, what I call mother website today. Okay. But in the very beginning, I was not selling supplies direct. I was basically sponsored. Like I said, Ryonet sponsored me one year. And then I had several other sponsors. Saudi sponsored, Rhinotech sponsored, McDermott Autotype. I had, quite a few sponsors that were giving commissions and promotional pay, for videos and mentions and stuff like that. Of course, again, because of the relationship that I had, through my father, a lot of these people that I work with knew me when I was 6 years old, and so in the very beginning, it was a lot of sponsorships, so to speak. And then, like I said, at a certain point, I realized that I had to take control of the situation and just sell direct. It was the only way to really take control, keep the kind of customer service that I want, because for me, my name and reputation is everything. So the level of customer service I give is just like, if you're unhappy, I'll give you your money back.
Now, with that being said, do you test a lot of those products to see
all the products?
What I'm saying, if you're gonna promote a certain product, are you promoting it because you feel like that is the best product that you've tried, or is it just kind of like what you can get your hands on?
No, actually, these are products that I have used and tested, and I like them. So, for instance, Saudi products are excellent. I mean, the chemicals are awesome, and the emulsions are great. I solve a lot of people's problems with Textile PC Blue, and I love it. It's a great emulsion. I use it. We call it the house dressing over here. It's the house dressing because that's what I use. If it's that blue emulsion, that's Textile PC Blue, and that's what I use in every day. And same with the chemicals. Yeah, I like everything that I sell is stuff that I like. I enjoy it. It's good stuff. It works very well. And I try to find stuff that is competitively priced, because, and I, sometimes I try to find things that are an alternative to the most common things that have been around forever as well. Like the inks and chemicals, I have a few different choices, that chemicals, you can go with Saudi, or I have another product that may be lesser known, but it's a lot less expensive and it works really good. So yeah, no, it's all stuff that I have either stumbled on or seeked out and then have used and said, you know what, this is good. I like this and the price is great. So instead of selling the same stuff that Ryonet or this guy sells or the other guy sells, I go with this because I like it and it's good pricing.
Do you have anything that you feel like is really underrated that not a lot of shops use that should use?
Well, as far as like something that shops may overlook and not use, or a product that is a good product that they should use?
Both.
Yeah, both.
Okay, so one product I find that a lot of shops are either unaware of or do not use is mesh abrader. And mesh abrader is a part of the mesh preparation process. So when you buy a screen from your supplier like Catspit, right? You buy a brand new screen and you get it shipped in, and we all know that it's dirty and greasy and stuff, and we have to use mesh degreaser or mesh prep to clean the mesh. But we also have to consider that the fabric itself is brand new, and the threads, they're thread fibers, and each of these little thread fibers are very slick and smooth. So emulsion can have a difficult time biting on to the mesh. Okay, so in order to make your screen making process a lot easier when you're washing out the stencil, we use mesh abrader. And what mesh abrader does is it has a micro grit. I believe it's pumice, and it's micro grit. It's very small. And what it does is it roughs up the fabric just ever so slightly, so that the emulsion can bite on. And then when you wash out detail, especially, the emulsion is not going to tend to fly off. You're not going to lose high detail places. So
you do that just on your first application? Like
exactly.
When you first get them in? You don't do it every time you're cleaning the screen?
No, that's correct. You only use it on brand new screens one time and never again.
What is that? Is it like a paste? Is it like a spray?
It's the one I sell is Sadi, and it's Direct Prep 1, and it's kind of like a paste, but it's very liquid. It's almost like a car wax compound of some kind.
That's awesome. That's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have that issue too much anymore because we switched to using Diazo and stuff. But before we were same kind of thing. You'd blow out little halftone details here and there when you're pressure washing and stuff. So
yeah,
that might be handy.
Are more forgiving for sure. They have a wider exposure latitude. Yeah.
What was the other part of that question was which is your favorite product?
I guess it would probably, I'd have to probably go to the house dressing, the Sadi Sea Blue. Yeah. For emulsion, because it's a great photopolymer. It's pretty easy to work with. And when you post cure it, you can print water-based ink or a solvent ink, and it's really durable. It's very durable after a post cure.
So why the name Catspit? Where did that come from?
Yeah, I knew that was going to come up. So, I had a black cat for about 18 years. It was about 18 years, and the black cat would, when she would sit in my lap, and I would pet the cat, and she would salivate and literally drool from her mouth. And then on top of that, she would flap her head like a dog, and the spit would fly all over the place. And one day it flew on my glasses, and I said out loud, I says, "What's with this cat spit? What's with this cat spit? What the hell?" And then I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. I wrote it down." Yeah, I wrote it down on a piece of paper, and then when I started the business, I named it Catspit Productions. Yeah,
you're like, "Oh, Catspit."
Yeah. And the thing is not to be on a down note, but I believe, let's see, the business was 2007. So shortly after that, the cat was killed in a condo fire. My neighbor burned down our condos or the townhouses or whatever, and she died in the fire. And that's where a lot of the logos are inspired from. Like this Tomcat logo over here is that cat kind of recreated in the image of Tom from Tom and Jerry. If you remember Tom and Jerry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the cat lives on
forever. That's our feline matriarch.
So when you were making the educational videos, did you have like a breakdown of like, I want to make a video about this, I want to make a video about this? Or, I mean, doing it for 10 years, I feel like you would kind of run out of educational videos to do.
Yeah, no, I never had a plan, except in the very beginning, I tried to sort of cover the basics in steps, which, I'm not sure if I quite did efficiently. But no, yeah, well, I could say for many years, I didn't have any problems coming up with video topics. Okay. Today, a lot of the topics will come from the viewers actually, because they ask specific questions. And then I realize that's a good topic to make a video about. Okay. So a lot of the topics, that will be today and going forward and recently would be inspired from the audience on YouTube. And then of course I have my own, brilliant ideas, now and then.
I think you could go on and on and on. I mean, there's something like 8,000 variables in screen printing or something. And so you could have a video for literally every variable. You could have a video for fucking humidity, or no humidity. You could just go on. It seems like you could go on and on. You remember your first video? The very first one you made?
I do.
What was it on?
I want to remake that video. I don't like it. I want to remake it, and I will remake it. Hopefully,
it's not still up, is it? Is it one of the ones that's down?
Absolutely, it's still up. Yeah, it was. It was the very first video I made, and I think it's called something like how to screen print, the process explained. And that was when I was working in a cooperative warehouse with a couple other printers, which was at the place where I managed a screen print supply company. I was actually the manager for it. And we had a co-op in the back warehouse. And so I started staying after work. That's where the videos started, actually. Yeah.
That title, How To, is probably has 1 million views or something with that title. How to screen print.
Probably it's got some views. Yeah. I have over 600 screen printing videos now. So some of them have quite a few views. Yeah. I can't remember, exactly every one, but that one's 10, 11 years old now. So.
No, I know you enjoy doing all this stuff, and we all enjoy doing the podcast and all this other stuff. But there is a businessy side to it where you want to try to get it out there to as many people, and you want to try to do all that stuff as best you can. Do you dive at all into that with YouTube and figure out the best subject lines and the best tags to use and everything to get the best reach to people? Or do you just post it and put whatever you want and just leave it as is?
At this point, that's what I do, because I've been, Google, you have to understand, Google gives a lot of weight for time. So the longer you've been producing content, the more weight they give to you, as long as you keep producing content. And so today I can do, almost any video I want, really, and just throw it out there. And usually the screen printing videos do well. If I show some kind of information, people like that.
Right.
If I get too vloggy or personal or do something offbeat, like I've done Halloween videos and stuff like that, they get some views too, but not from my regular audience. So, but yes, definitely there was a method to my madness in the beginning and how I promoted the videos. And there's a certain understanding to how to get the videos to get some attention. And it takes a lot of determination. It takes time, and you can't give up. Meaning, again, I think I'm going on 11 years on YouTube. Now, I've slowed down a bit. The last video I made was, 3 months ago, 4 months ago. Okay, but I'm hoping as soon as this whole COVID thing mellows out a little bit, I'll be able to get back to making videos again, which is what I enjoy doing. That really pleases me, to be able to make videos that people enjoy watching, so especially when I can teach them something that they maybe didn't know, or,
right.
We talked to Cam from the Print Life a while back, and he said the same thing, that it takes so long. He uploads a lot of videos, and it takes so long to catch, for people to find you and to subscribe and keep watching your videos.
Yes, it's and also, I'll tell you the truth, I got lucky because people connected with my teaching style. So one thing I learned is that you have to keep your YouTube channel G-rated. You don't want to use a lot of curse words and things like that, because YouTube uses your videos to make money. And, honestly, the Catspit YouTube channel is a partner. It is a partner with YouTube. And at one point, it used to make some money. Today, it really doesn't make any money because I had to block all the ads from my competitors, because I sell direct now, right? So I sell direct. I can't have Ryanette's videos running before mine. So I've had to block that whole thing. So the videos don't make a whole lot of money, but still, YouTube appreciates G-rated material. So, it has a lot to do with how you make the videos, how you interact with your audience. You got to answer questions. I still answer questions today, even though right now I'm so far behind on questions on YouTube, it's not funny. But I still go through my questions and reply to everybody that I can when I get the time. So, yeah, it's a nurturing process to the entity of YouTube.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of that is just engagement with people. Like you said, if you answer people's questions, I feel like to them it's like, holy shit, he answered me.
Yeah.
And it just makes them want to watch the next one because they have a personal connection a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah,
absolutely.
I like that though. I like getting, I I like getting questions because, well, if I don't have the answer to them, then maybe I have to go find it out, or I'll refer them to somebody else. Or, if it's a basic question like how to screen print, well, then I'll say you should go watch some Catspit videos or some print life videos, because it's all right there.
Yeah.
But if it's more specific questions about how we do a certain thing, and I think that I could answer it pretty easily, then I just message them back. But if it's complicated, we do phone calls pretty often.
Sure.
And I think though that sometimes I'm sharing information that we've R&D'd, and I, like, hey, this took a while to figure out, and then we'll go ahead and share it. Other times, when I share that, then they share back, and so maybe I'm stuck in a spot, or we have a question about a certain product, then I'll reach out. So I think it goes both ways. So, but you're right.
Yeah.
Answering all those questions it takes a while sometimes.
It's a lot of work. Oh yeah. It's a lot of work. Yeah.
Answer them right.
Well, there's some, like you said, I can't answer. I mean, I'm a textile guy, so I get questions, and I do sell graphic equipment. Okay. So I know a little bit about graphic stuff. I do sell graphic equipment. But my forte is textiles. So sometimes, I get questions that come, from a completely different sector of the screen printing industry I can't answer all of them because that's not my thing. I don't do that. Like membrane switches or things like that is I get questions on that, and it's like, I'm not a graphic guy. So you gotta check with the graphic guy.
Right. Yeah, I think video. I think a lot of my questions lately have been not about product or something, but more about, how do you run your business this way, or how do you hire somebody, or this kind of stuff.
Oh,
and those are long answers, and but they're good. But those are really tough questions, because you got to kind of. I stumbled along the way when we started. I made all kinds of mistakes, and I learned how to hire better, or all that stuff. I think we lost Dylan, possibly. Not sure. Yep. I don't know how to get him back. Well, anyway, we don't need him. He wasn't doing much anyway, right? but that's tough. It's awesome that you do that, for the industry.
I do as much as I can with the business side of it. I like questions about screen printing. I'm not really a businessman. I'm more of an artist, to tell you the truth. So, as far as the business side of it, I'll answer as much as I can, but I'll admit that that's not my, that's not my area of expertise. I like to teach the fundamentals of the screen printing process. Really, that's what I enjoy.
Yeah, same here. I think I've become a businessman, because out of necessity, I have to every single day. But what I really want to be doing is printing shirts, and so that's my kind of like, that's my forte. I think we might have him back. Let's see.
Come on, aren't you guys the tech geniuses over there?
I know.
There we go. Oh, all right.
All right. All right. Stop talking shit. He's back. Yeah, here he is.
Yeah, I know you logged off so you could,
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
You were talking all about G-rated, and I just had to fucking stop this so I could swear so much.
Yeah. No problem.
I don't know what happened either. You guys just froze, and then it just shut off. Like Zoom just completely shut. So I have no idea what happened.
I'm just happy it wasn't me, because I'm lucky I'm on here right now and it's working.
Yeah, no, that's good. Well, I don't know if Andy said these while I was gone, but we actually we've been recently starting to ask the listeners, like, what questions would they have for you? Sure. So I want to rattle a couple of these off so that you can try to answer them. The first one was, why did you pick Raynar as a manufacturer? But you said that was because your dad?
Well, no, in that case, actually, it was because of the guys at Raynar. And what happened is when I first started making the YouTube videos, I was actually using a Raynar press. And it was a pretty cool press. I liked it a lot. And at that time, believe it or not, I wasn't hooked up with Raynar in the beginning, and I put masking tape over their name because people kept asking me about it, and I wasn't really hooked up with them yet. And then one day I was over at a buddy's place running his automatic press and M&R press for him. And I got a phone call on my cell phone, and it was David Walker from Renar. And he said, so, yeah, you're using our press and stuff. Why don't you sell it? And I says, well, okay. Let me get a new press. So we worked something out, and I got some of their equipment in, and I like Renar. Renar is a very interesting company. It's a very small factory in El Segundo, California. It's a family-run business, and it's a lot of hands-on fabrication right there in the factory. And what I liked about their equipment was it was very, very simple. The build, I say, is kind of stupid simple, but it's very heavy. So the stuff is built like a tank. And
it's not over-engineered.
No, it's not over-engineered. And one of the first things that I liked about it is they used a compression spring rather than expansion spring. So on a lot of presses you see today, you have springs on the side of the print heads, and there are mesh netting over the springs. And when you lift the print head, those springs expand. All right. So the reason the mesh netting is there is because ultimately they break, and sometimes
they smash you in the face.
Yeah, they fly across the shop or whatever. So the netting is there for safety. Well, the compression spring that Renar uses is unique, and it'll never break. It was the first part of the press that I gave a lifetime guarantee on, in fact. And I just liked it a lot. And the presses are just really easy to work with. They take a little bit to set up. You have to zero them out and set them up. Okay, it's not like I sell AWT presses as well, and their manual presses come pinned from the factory. So they're machine built in such a way that there's pins on all the parts, and when you put it together, it's ready to go. You really don't have to do anything. Whereas Renar, you're going to need to level the pallets and level the print heads and get everything set up before you start rolling. But it was just, I think it was a nice marriage of, the guys at Renar are real cool, and I enjoyed their product quite a bit. I believe in it, and today I offer a lifetime guarantee on the presses.
That's awesome.
That's the most important thing, really, is that's why we use the stuff we use here, and the stuff. That's why Dylan uses the products he uses, and so you believe in it. And so I can never sell a product, that I didn't believe in. So just like you said, you back up those springs, lifetime guarantee. You do that, or does Renar?
I do that.
So
I do that. It's only from Catspit. Renar won't give you a lifetime guarantee. No, It's only from Catspit.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, I just believe I've been selling them for so long now, and I've had no problems. So I can easily do that, and it's really a non-issue.
You got another one, Dylan?
Let's see. Yeah. I guess this is kind of a weird. It says, "Why are Sherlocks so much better than statics?" But there's a winky face after that. So, how do you feel versus statics versus like
they're just, whoever that is? Oh, I know who that is. They're just trying to start a fight here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, listen, every screen printer has their own preferences, and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? I'm an old school printer. Like I told you, I'm 50 years old, okay? So I started out printing on wood screens that really sucked, okay? So I hate wood screens. Don't even talk to me about wood screens. That's like a thing. I hate wood screens, okay? But, for most T-shirt work, I've been around the block a few times, and I've seen graphic work, like you said, and I've seen T-shirts, textile. For most T-shirts, static aluminum frames are fine if you get them from a good distributor that gives you some decent tension, and they're nice, tight screens and stuff. So for the most part, I recommend static aluminum screens, unless, if you need higher tension for some reason, then you might use roller frames. Okay. Sherlock frames are cool too. Sherlock has a system to do, they have a system to stretch roller frames, and then they have another easy frame or something, I think it's called, where there's, it's kind of like the eco frame, and it has panels that snap into the back.
Yeah.
But those screens are heavy. They're actually pretty heavy. I have a few of them over here in the back, actually, that were sent to me. And, for T-shirts, for most T-shirt work, I feel a static aluminum screen works just fine for me. Even on high detail, I can do half tones, and I really don't have a problem with them at all.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. This kind of ties in a little bit. It says, what's your thoughts on traditional squeegee versus easy grip versus badass style squeegee?
What's badass style? Why don't I know?
The badass. I have the badass.
Okay.
What is that?
Manual squeegee. It's the Action Engineering makes it. It's just like the easy grip, but it's all metal. It's like all aluminum. Okay. It's not like a piece of plastic.
Right. So that's probably better than the easy grip, because the easy grip actually flexes this way. So the squeegee blade is able to twist, and that's not really what you want. You don't want your squeegee blade to twist from side to side. So that yellow plastic thing, no, they sent me one and they wanted me to look at it and stuff, but no, I prefer a wooden handle squeegee. Here's the thing. So again, for t-shirts, for most t-shirts, especially when you're talking about manual printing, of course, a wood squeegee handle with the squeegee is fine. And the reason for that is because if you have MDF pallets, usually MDF pallets are going to warp. And a wood handle squeegee will actually allow the squeegee to flex and kind of accommodate that imperfection of the pallet. Okay. And they work fine on aluminum pallets, of course, as well. But no, I don't like any of those fancy newfangled squeegee holders. I prefer a wood handle if you're going to be on a manual press with MDF pallets. If you have aluminum pallets, you can use an aluminum handle squeegee, but I don't think it's necessary for t-shirts.
I have a question. So with the easy grip or the badass style, can you still pull, or are they for pushing? Do you know?
From what I can see, they look like they're pulling. I don't know. What I looked at, the one that I had here, it was kind of like this. So I'm not sure how you would push with that. I think it was easier to pull. But that's another thing that's true. I prefer a pull flood and a push stroke. Okay.
Well, we have the badass one.
The reverse.
It's basically like, so your hands would be straight up and down for the most part, or a little bit forward.
But does it make you do like
it doesn't make you flex it, because the squeegee's already at a little bit of an angle.
Yeah.
So it's more like you could pull it or push it. I don't know. I like it. I don't print barely ever, but when I do like projects on my own, I always grab that squeegee. But like, I agree with you. Like a wood handle squeegee is, you can use that all day long. There's no issue.
The other thing, with the wood handle squeegees, you're able to cut many different sizes in the shop. Right. And when you're working with different size artwork, you don't want to use a 12-inch squeegee for a 3-inch design. So right. The wood handles allow me also to choose the perfect squeegee size for the print.
Right. Makes sense. What are your thoughts on using expensive tape versus just basic clear tape for screens?
These questions are coming from some of the people, because they must know what to ask. Yeah. I use
listener questions. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I use masking tape. I use regular old masking tape.
No, you don't.
I do. And I tape on the substrate side. I do not tape on the inkwell side. So okay. I only use 4 pieces of 2-inch tape on the substrate side. It's masking tape, and it works fine.
Why do you like masking tape?
Because it's easy to work with. It's easy to tear. It's easy to get off. And if it doesn't want to come off, it comes off in the washout booth with the pressure washer.
So do you don't store screens?
Yeah, I do.
With masking tape on it.
I do.
Because I started with wooden frames, and I started with masking tape. Yeah. I went to the hardware store to buy it, And what would happen is it would get all gummy, like over time. So if I stored a frame more than, I don't know, a few weeks or a month or whatever, it started to break down and get all gummy, and you couldn't tear it off.
Well, maybe there are grades of masking tape. I think I use the 3M stuff, but it can stay on there for many years. It can get a little wrinkled. The more chemicals and usage it has, it can get wrinkled, but usually it stays on until I take it off, but sure, it can get super saturated and come off. But, for the amount of tape that I've used in my lifetime in print shops. Masking tape saved a lot of money, and screen tape is good too, but it's expensive. The plastic screen tape, you can reuse it. Actually, I made a video about that. You can reuse the plastic screen tape several times before throwing it out.
You mean just by cleaning the top of it or something?
Well, sometimes no. Sometimes you use it to print a smaller run, perhaps, and then, like I said, I tape off rather on the substrate side. So we're only talking about 4 pieces, right? So I can peel those pieces off and stick them on the concrete wall, and then put them on another screen, as long as they have some kind of stickiness left to them.
So you're saving dollars and saving the environment. I like it.
I guess so. Yeah.
I just talk.
If you don't do the inside, what happens when you get ink like accidentally in the corner of the aluminum frame?
Yeah, that doesn't.
Has to clean off.
That doesn't bother me. So I use a 16-inch scoop coater on a 20 by 24 screen. So there's only a little bit of space around the edge, and sometimes the ink gets into the corners and stuff like that, but it's usually, again, a non-issue for me, even if I'm going to use different inks on the same screen.
This is pretty cool. There was a shop. A guy called me or texted me on last week and said he's going to be in town in St. Louis doing business on Friday. He wanted to stop by and say hi, so we did. And we were going through the shop. I was giving him a tour, and then we got to talking about tape. And he said he doesn't use tape. And so I immediately thought that, you've got the tapeless screens where you put extra glue around the edge. He says, no, I just buy giant screens. So that, I think he said 2536s, so he goes, you have those too, Dylan? You don't use 2330? Oh, so you buy giant.
We use both. We have 2331s and then 2536 for oversized prints. So we're still making the prints bigger. It's not like we're using big screens for small prints.
Well, he was using big screens for smaller standard prints, I guess. And so that he had a scoop coater that he coats, kind of like you said, almost to the edge, and then keeps his, it's such a giant screen. And so the squeegees are cut. He said he cut his at 14 inches and it just never even comes close to the edges of the frame or the edge of the emulsion. And so it doesn't tape anything. I was like, well, that sucks. I just bought, 550 23 by 31s. but actually I have two of our presses could accommodate, but one of them I couldn't even fit them on anyway.
The problem is though too, is that you think you're saving money on tape, but you're also spending way more money on emulsion.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
I wonder but probably less. Tape is shit. That tape's not cheap.
Well, you also get the expensive split tape.
Yeah, the opposite of masking tape.
Yeah,
that's right. Well, the PMI split tape. Yeah,
we've always used in the beginning. We used packaging, like box packaging tape. But the problem is that the sticky residue on those is supposed to be really strong to hold a box shut. That it actually sticks. Like you peel the tape off, you'll have sticky residue.
Off.
Right.
Yes.
So then we found out that we can use the natural gum rubber tape. It's like the tape looks like a natural, like a brown color or whatever. And that doesn't leave any sticky residue at all. And they're pretty cheap per roll. Like you can get it from Uline, and we just order like cases at a time. And we just use that tape specifically for screens, and it peels right off beautifully. No residue, no nothing. So
I've heard guys do that, order from Uline too. But when this whole thing happened, then quarantine happened, and I was the guy who was pulling tape. I was like, oh my gosh, we're doing this so wrong. I don't know how we ended up here. And so this wasn't willy-nilly deciding to use PMI, but this was like, I bought all different kinds of tape and then decided which one was the fastest to peel off, and not just fastest to peel off, but also could peel off. Because sometimes when you peel off like the cheaper stuff I got at Uline, it peels off and then it tears and it rips, and then I don't have fingernails. And so I have fingernails, but I don't have them. They're not long.
Yeah.
And so here I am trying to pick at tape, off the screen. And it was just, I wanted to be able to pull tape off super fast. And we got it down to like 15 seconds ever.
You just wanted to have fancy looking tape for all those videos of Kyle taping screens super fast.
Well, we do happen to have Kyle happens to be the world's fastest taper. But and we're going to put that to test. No. There's been lots of challenges, but he will. If ISS happens this year, there's going to be a competition.
I hope so.
There's a teaser right there. We'll see if it happens. If it happens, then we're going to have a taping competition. So we'll see. We're going to have to fly him out there, and he's never flown before. So maybe he drives out. He'll have to leave a week early. I don't know. But
yeah, I wonder if ISS will happen this year. That's a good question. I haven't heard anything.
I doubt it
myself. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah, as of now, it's still on. But like you said, I doubt it.
Yeah.
I had, we pretty much went through all the decent comments, but there was one in here I just wanted to throw out. It's kind of funny. Barrel Maker asked, why did he choose the grossest name possible? We already answered that, but yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
But it works. Yeah. So like, you don't forget it, you know?
You won't forget it.
No, that's actually a good point. In fact, when I first started the business and started doing this, everybody said, Catspit, that's stupid. That is not, that's not what you name your business and blah, blah, blah. I got all this flack for it. And like I said, I'm an artist. I'm not a business person. So that's why.
But it's super memorable.
Well, today, Catspit is basically a keyword for screen printing. So
when I started, or not when I started, but a few years ago, I went to a
when you started being good.
We started to, right, Dylan. Well, I went to this meeting and this guy was like, why Shirkon? You got to change that name. Get rid of that name. That's no good. You got to call yourself St. Louis Screen Printing or something. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Well, that answers the question to me, because that's just not memorable. There's too many. That's just too typical. And I like the name Catspit. It can be. It can be gross, or it can be not, or whatever. I never thought of it as gross, but
it's actually what it actually refers to as a cat's hiss. So, cats hiss, big cats and small cats, they hiss at you. So a cat's spit that's really what that is supposed to mean. It's a cat's hiss, or their spit at you. It's not like they're actually spitting at you, although mine did.
All right. Well, we have an Inksoft question.
Sure.
And this is a really good one, I think. Dylan wrote it, so let me get this straight. So there's something about going for a drive, and you got your windows down, and that warm smell of colitas and sweet tunes playing. If you could go anywhere, where would you go? Where would you go for a cruise to get away and clear your head?
So if I had it my way, I would take the project car, which it's not really built for long cruises, but under this hypothetical situation, let's say it were, I would take the project car and drive out to the beach. So, right now the closest ocean we have here is California. Not that California is the place I want to go, but, the ocean, I'm very drawn to the ocean. So, If I had the ability right now, I would probably go and drive to the coast and spend some time on the ocean.
Perfect. So you take the bitchin' Camaro down to the shore.
Yep. Yeah. Which, of course, like I said, you could totally not do, because it's so ridiculous. It's not really meant for long cruises or anything like that.
Yeah. And the fuel economy,
Oh, I don't know if I could make it between here and Blythe, without running out of gas. So. Or not even here in Palm Springs or whatever's in between. The next thing it is, I forget now. I drive out every year to the Long Beach show, and I enjoy the ocean quite a bit. I go down and check it out. So I think that's probably because of my father, and he was a saltwater fisherman, and my brother in New York does saltwater fishing. And I'm not a big fisherman or anything, but I like to be near the ocean. And I'm in the desert, as I said that.
Yeah, but not far from the ocean, way closer than us. So
yeah, 6 hours. It's a 6-hour drive, and I can be on the beach. So it's not too bad.
So Dylan, where do you go for a cruise?
I don't know. Well, I already live in a pretty peaceful place, but my dad actually this weekend drove up to Maine and was just like sitting by the water. And I feel like just that whole drive from New York to Maine is, you can take a pretty back way to get there. It's a pretty peaceful drive. So, I mean, that sounds pretty good right now. But for me, I would like to take the bike. That sounds like a good time. It's pretty cold right now to do that, but
yeah,
that'd be ideal.
Is it fall up there now? Like the leaves are changing?
Yeah, everything's totally changed at this point.
Do you miss that about New York? You said you grew up in New York. Do you miss, because you're in the desert, do you miss that season of fall? No.
No, absolutely not. No, my brother's still there. Like I said, he's in Martha's Vineyard right now fishing, but he'll send me pictures and stuff with the snow. And no, I like Arizona. I like Phoenix because we have no tornadoes. We have no hurricanes. We have no earthquakes. Once in a while it rains really bad, but we have non-weather here. So you can plan a drive on a Saturday and pretty much be rest assured that it's going to be sunny and beautiful.
Yeah, I was there in February and fell in love. I love Phoenix, so can't wait to get back.
Yeah, I like it here. I don't think I would move anywhere else. If California weren't such a problem to do business in, I would have moved closer to Ranor. But California is such a mess that this is as close as I'll get. So as far as business, I'm not putting down Californians. I'm just saying there's a lot of red tape for business there, and it's crazy. So I can make a better business here in Phoenix than I could in LA.
I think a lot of people share that opinion. So
it's rough. Yeah.
A lot of people are moving from California to Texas
and Phoenix. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Where do you go, Andy?
Those both sound so good. I was going to say the same thing as Jonathan, so I'll use my second choice, and that would be from driving from Denver into the Rockies, Highway 70 or anywhere you can take an exit and just go. It's so beautiful, So I would choose the Rockies.
Yeah.
So what's next for you, Jonathan? What do you got going? Anything in the works that you want to tell us about?
Well, I have something that's been in the works for quite a bit now, and it's just originally it was supposed to be a pretty expansive, detailed tutorial site, and it's turning out that what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attach it to the e-commerce site and make it a lot simpler to start out with because of everything that's going on. I don't want to invest a ton of money into it and then see it not be fruitful. So I want to test the waters a little bit and see what people think. So we're going to build, what I'm doing is taking my screen printing book, basically over all these 10, 11 years that I've been doing all this content, I have written what accumulates to a book about screen printing. So I have edited and organized that into text and chapters. And then we are embedding the videos from YouTube, all 10 years of them, into the appropriate places throughout this little tutorial segment. So it'll be a membership site, meaning, it'll probably be, I'm not sure yet, I might do 14 or 15 bucks, or it might be 19 bucks, and you get like 30 days access, and then you'll get access to the entire book with all the videos embedded in the appropriate place, because that was one of the biggest complaints I have received over the years and years of doing the YouTube videos, is that people say, well, you have so many videos now that they're not in order, they're not in sequence. Right. I can't really figure it out. It's really hard to find what I want. So I'm attempting to, put that into a cohesive, organized layout and allow people to access it 30 days, no contract. You can pay for 30 days at a time, drop out, come back later, buy in again, check it out. And hopefully, eventually, I'd like to build it into an interactive site of its own where the members will be able to interact directly with me within the site, and kind of move it more towards because it's really hard. Yeah, kind of consulting, but more of a tutorial teacher type thing. And because I was teaching in person here in Phoenix. And a lot of people are still calling me for that, but I'm not doing it right now, obviously, because of the COVID thing. And, honestly, I'm not sure if I want to resume it because it's a lot of work for me. It's a lot of work. And there's only so much money I feel comfortable charging somebody for that.
You're saying so you have a space in your shop that you would schedule a one-on-one class or a group?
Yes. No, it's one-on-one, actually. Yeah, in the back. There's the whole shop. That's where we make the videos. So it's a completely functional shop. I could print shirts back there anytime I want. But it was more for teaching and for making the videos. But it was left over from when I used to print. But today it's more of a studio. And I was doing one-on-one training sessions. So it wasn't a class really. It's one-on-one with me, very intimate, information overload.
And that was for like a day or for a weekend?
Actually, no, it's only about 4 or 5 hours. I run you through the process fundamental straight through, standing up the whole time, just fire straight through. But I didn't cover artwork. Don't forget, artwork is a whole nother ball game. So we basically started at film positives and talked a little bit about how you're going to make your film. And then we went right into screen making and coding screens and mesh prep and all that kind of stuff.
Do people fly in for this, or are these local normally, or how does that work?
Oh, yeah, they did. You could have anywhere in the country. People fly in to take it. There's a hotel that's pretty close to Catspit that we recommend, and people stay up there, and then they come over for the training. And then we have a lot of local people too, But again, I'm not sure if I'll continue that in the future just because, I'm getting older and I'd like my Saturdays back, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
I heard that. I almost came in this Saturday. I mean, like this close, and it wasn't to print anything. It was just to do the maintenance and stuff like that. And I was like, nah, I just can't do it. It was a long week, and I was so happy I didn't come in, so it's tempting. It really is, though. I mean, you have a business, and Dylan, this, especially when Dylan's shop is closer to his house than mine. But when it's just right there, you want to, there's always something to do. So I find myself, it's tough to stay away, but these days it's a lot easier.
I do it all the time. I'll just be home bored or something, or even be late at night, like everybody's asleep or something. I'm just like, I'm just going to go back to the shop. And then I'll end up here till like 2 a.m. And it's like, it's only because it's right down the road.
Yeah, that could be a problem for me as well. It's kind of like, there is a good thing about the separation from home and business for me, because I used to have the business in my home, and I would work all night. There was, you get up in the morning and all you got to do is walk from your bedroom to the office. So you could work long hours, and it was great. But having the business in its own place allows me to, detach a little bit on the weekends and stuff, which is good for your mental health.
I think I got in such a rhythm because it was such a fight to start, to make it, that I got in this habit of working, 80 hours a week. And that's sort of was my life. And I did it for so long that's how it worked, and I went in every day. And then, so it's hard to break yourself of that, because you want to make sure that you don't go backwards, or that, you don't lose it. So
that's true. That's true. And I think the internet and social media and everything also may push us at times, because you see other people working so hard, and then you're like, well, should I hang out today at home and relax, or should I go in and take care of some things like everybody else is doing, or like you want to hustle and be the most productive that you can be.
A lot of those people, though, they're taking their Instagram photos, acting like they're working, but they're not even at work.
That's true too. But it can be an inspiration to light a fire under your ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Be like, should I be sitting on the couch watching Godzilla today, or should I go into the office? And, should I waste some time? Should I go into the garage and bash my head against the door, or shall I go to work? Okay.
Yeah, but you were working on, but that was great. See, I think that's what makes you stronger. That time away. On the way in here, I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about, they offer vacation time unlimited to their employees, like unlimited, as much as you want. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was thinking about that. Like, how can that even, and he was saying that only 4 to 5% of his team take advantage of that. Because what was hard for a lot of people at first was, well, you mean I can take as many vacation days as I want? And they said, yeah. And what was hard for people at first is they would actually take less. They took fewer, because they were like, hey, I can't make it look like I'm not, my fair share. And so it was hard to break themselves of that habit of actually working all the time. And so most people, he said 90% of the people take between 2 and 3 weeks, and that makes them happier. And that extra week, or sometimes the person who has to take a month 1 year, but maybe they take less the next, makes them stronger, makes them more dedicated to that job.
Yeah.
You know, that time away is really important. So
absolutely. And I think it's statistically true that Americans take the least time off work, you know, like as compared to Europe, you know, and everybody says, oh, lazy Americans. But when you look at the number of hours we work, it's tremendous. So, it is important to, at a certain point, you know, just say, all right, I've done enough for today and it's time to go home and relax. Yeah.
Not me.
Well, yeah, well, you know, listen, I probably wouldn't have told you that 20 years ago. So, but today that's what I'll say because, you know, quite frankly, at the end of the day, my back hurts, my foot hurts and my neck hurts and it's time to go sit on a heating pad or something.
I agree. Well, hey man, thanks for doing this with us, for real. It was great to have you on because, like I said, so many shops like us, you know, started, you know, 10 years ago or whatever. It was the same thing. Like when we logged on to figure out how to do all this stuff, it was you and Ryan. So
yeah,
we were thinking you were before Ryan, but now, you know.
yeah, I'll be honest. That's right. Ryan was 2006, as I recall, and I came on the scene in 2009. So
because you wanted to do it better, though.
That's right. I said, you know what? I could make a better video, and it maybe at first it wasn't technically better, but like I said, people connected with my teaching style, so that's what made it work.
Sweet.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's been my pleasure, guys. It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me on, and if there's anything I can do ever, I'm here to help out.
Thanks, Jonathan. Good luck with that. That project you're working on sounds pretty rad. That'll help a lot of people. You know, if they have this organized tutorial class, I mean, that sounds great.
Yeah,
I thought about doing that thing too. So,
thank you.
Great talking to you, man.
Thanks, dude.
All right, thank you. Good talking to you guys. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
See ya.